Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 176 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. So I have a question for you. Did you wake up this morning juiced? Did you wake up excited for the day? I love asking these questions because I haven't always done that. And my life is good. It's been generally good. I have nothing to complain about. But when I would hear people say that they couldn't wait to get their day started and they were super juiced about what they had going on, I didn't always have that. I mean, now I have a gorgeous, loving husband, a beautiful home. I get to travel. Of course, it's a little different right now with COVID, but that's made us explore new options, which I also love. But there for a little while, I felt like I was getting a little too comfortable. I felt like life is good, but there's still more for me to do. But of course there is. I mean, we're here to create new experiences. We're here to create new connections, new reasons to feel alive. We aren't here just to create enough to get us to a place of comfort and then coast the rest of the way until we retire. And do what, right? Doesn't that seem, though, like the acceptable sort of cookie cutter formula? Oh, but we are not cookie cutter. Here's the thing. If you're listening to this, my guess, as always, is that you're looking for more out of life than just the run-of-the-mill. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat every single day. For some, that's tolerable, but not for me, and not for you either, I bet. So my question to you here is, what's stopping you? Because we probably have a lot more in common than you realize if you consistently listen to me. When we get excited about the prospect that there's more to life out there and we want to explore it. But also because you're like me, you probably have some of the same limiting thoughts that I have had. And they usually start with the phrase, I don't know. I really recently realized that this is one of my pet peeves. I don't like hearing that statement. Like, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what I want. I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to get there. Now, some of you are thinking, well, sometimes you don't know how. And you'd be extremely correct. Most of the time, if you're doing something new, you don't know how. So I'm going to introduce a caveat to my pet peeve. I actually love hearing that statement when it's followed up with, but I'll find the answer. I don't know, but I'll find the answer. You know why that last part is so important? Because a lot of times people, and I include me in this too, they use that statement, I don't know, to basically end the discussion, to pass the buck, or worse yet, to end the thought that it's even possible for them. When I had this strong desire, this drive to start my podcast, I had a few people tell me, well, there's a lot that you don't know how to do there. I mean, that's too complex right now. You've got other things going on. You're not really ready for that, which of course I basically took as a challenge. But guess what? I didn't know how to do it, but my desire to do it was so strong that I knew it was the right thing and nothing was going to stop me from figuring it out, which I did. And that's why we're here today. Now, it was important for me to figure it out. And of course, I had the same thoughts we all have when we're starting something new. I mean, my brain would throw out the thoughts like, well, nobody will listen. What will people think? I mean, they'll judge me. Will they? Won't they? Or what if I fail? But every single podcast that has ever started had to build an audience. So of course, no one will be listening at the beginning. And people generally are not that concerned with what you're doing. They may be curious, but for the most part, they've got their own things going on. So what I'm not doing is not a big deal to other people. I mean, that's just something my ego wants to believe, but it simply isn't true. And humans are going to judge you. That's a human trait. So do you want them to judge you for something you didn't do or for something you did do? Because those are basically your options. Now, never forget what Wayne Dyer always said. Other people's opinions of me are none of my business. And finally, the question about what if I fail? Well, the only way I fail is if I quit. And I'm not a quitter. And neither are you, especially if you practice your I'm not a quitter phrase that I talked about in episode 175. If you haven't listened to that, go back. It's really a good one. And sometimes, though, we aren't even aware that we're using the I don't know statement. I mean, our brain will just subtly put it out there when you're dreaming of doing something new, and you just accept it as true and move on to the next thought. Or worse, you have this dream, this thing you want to do. You don't know how to do it, but instead of finding the answer of how to do it, the not knowing how makes you uncomfortable. And of course, we never want to feel uncomfortable, so you distract yourself by scrolling social media, which takes the discomfort away, but it also takes away the possibility of you ever reaching that dream. So do you see that destructive pattern? It isn't the I don't know thought that's the problem. It's the action you take after the I don't know thought that matters. If you're distracting yourself from the discomfort, or you allow that I don't know thought, you basically end the possibility of you ever doing anything to reach it. And sometimes you may figure out the answer and you realize that it's not for you. And then you can move on to the next experience. That's totally fine. For a long time, I would see these rock climbing walls everywhere. And it looked so fun, but it wasn't something I had done before. My brain kept saying, well, I don't know if I need to wear a certain shoe or when I can go in and climb or if I even could or would I look silly trying it. That was all the thoughts my brain was sending me. It took me about 5 minutes of talking to one of the climbing trainers to get those answers. So here I go. I give it a shot. And it wasn't awful, but it wasn't something I was dying to do again. And that's the thing. You're going to have ideas that you think you want, and it's your job to figure out which ones are meant for your journey, but you won't know until you try it. And trust me, your brain wants to keep you safe and snuggled at home, so we'll always throw out some sort of I don't know statement to end the thought right away. But don't let it. You're here to create new experiences and to figure out what your path of least resistance is to everything you want. But you're not going to get there by giving into the I don't know thoughts. My challenge to you this week is to be aware every time you hear the thought in your head, I don't know, and follow it up with, but I will find the answer. As soon as you add that, your brain will start looking for the answer. And then you can decide with full knowledge whether that thing is for you or not. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.